Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my November beauty favorites. I skipped October, but I'm doing November, and then I'm currently working on my best of beauty for 2015, so I'm editing the list, and it originally was like 3+ pages long, and I was like, that's not okay. That's not a favorites list. That's a products I really enjoyed, and ooh, I like this, ooh, I like that, but I really wanted to make sure it was like my favorites of everything, because I try not to use that word as much on my blog. I try to save that word for what I truly find as a favorite product. So I test out a lot of products, and I enjoy products, and there's products that get into my routine and I really see a lot of benefits from, or I enjoy, like I said, using them. But my favorite products, I really like to save that title for the products that I just blew my mind. So I'm editing that list slowly, and it'll be up probably by the end of December, beginning of January. But let's get started first on November beauty favorites. I have some makeup and some skincare products. First, let's start with some lip products. I've been liking a lot of lip products this month. And first is the Hourglass Lip Oil. So this is in the colored shade Icon. So they did like a clear one, they did a colored one that comes in like a red, like their classic Icon shade. So that is the color. It's like a nice, it does, turn out pretty sheer once it's been on, but it definitely, has some color. It's not going to stay opaque, but it definitely is going to sheer out. The only thing with that is I do tend to just kind of like to dab it on with my finger, because it is like a gloss, so it tends to move a little bit on me, but because the pigment, once you start putting it on, is not super intense, it doesn't bleed too much on me. But if I, apply it everywhere, and especially towards the end of my lip line, it can bleed a little bit. So that's why I said I like to keep it right in the middle of my lips and kind of dab it with my finger. And another lip product that I really enjoyed this month, this is it's actually a skincare product, but it's for the lips, and it's the e.l.f. Lip Exfoliator. So I don't know if you guys can see, there's like little scrubbies in this. It's shaped like a lipstick, and it has in it like these little granules, and I just love using it. I mean, I have a bunch of lip scrubs. I've really been loving the Glam Glow Pout Mud, but that's like a 2-step, so there's like a scrub and a lip balm. But I keep this in my purse throughout the day that I could just kind of throw on my lips rather than having to dig my finger into a pot. I like that this doesn't need any finger application, but I've just been loving it. I really didn't kind of see that coming. I haven't tried too many. I've tried a couple of e.l.f. products recently, and that immediately was the first product I tried, and I was like, I love this. So I've been using that like nonstop this past month. Another lip product that I love, and I've talked about their glosses before, actually. Their lipstick formula is one of my holy grail lipstick formulas of all time, and it's Chantecaille, and this is their Galactic Lip Shine. So this is in the shade Moonlight, and it's kind of like an iridescent, let me see if I can you're not going to really be able to see it too much. Yeah, it's basically just clear, and you barely can see it. But it's an opalescence, an iridescent kind of finish to it. And the reason why I love, and I've talked about this formula before, so it's another shade that I really liked by them. It takes lip gloss to like a whole other level. It's like this really creamy, almost nourishing balm-like, but not thick like a balm. It has some slip to it, but there's just almost no tackiness to it. And it's just a formula that as soon as I tried it and I put it on my lips, I was like, this is like nothing I've ever tried before. And like I said, the Lip Chics by Chantecaille are one of my favorite lip formulas of all time, so it doesn't surprise me that I absolutely fell in love with their lip glosses. Now, I think the Galactic Lip Shine is different than their regular lip glosses. So I think this is a different kind of formulation, because I haven't tried their standard lip glosses. I've just tried the Galactic ones, and I love the Galactic. Okay, so next is a line that just recently launched, and it's new to me. It's new to everybody because it's brand new, but it's from Blue Mercury, And I had gone to their press event, their launch of, so Blue Mercury has their own skincare line, M61. And the owner and founder, Marla Beck, she created a new makeup line only exclusively for Blue Mercury, and it's her line. And she called it Loon and Aster. I think it's supposed to be like the sun and moon. But they gave us a bunch of products at the press event. So I kind of was like, going through them, and the two that stood out to me, and actually I've been using over and over and over and over again, are the kind of bronzing products. And so I wanted to show you, first, this is the Baked Bronzer in Tarifa. I think that's how you, Tarifa. So it's like a baked, so it's kind of that swirl effect. Now, when it goes on the skin, it's very, very light. So it's almost like the Hourglass ambient lighting for the face, because it's not going to give me like a standard bronze, like a really deep bronzer that I have. So I use it more of like a glow for the cheeks and a base. Typically how I do my cheeks always is I do a glowy kind of finishing powder to start, whether it's Hourglass ambient lighting palette or something like this I've been using all over the cheeks. And then I put some blush kind of right on the apples of my cheeks. This one is just, now it's very, very powdery. So when I first put my brush in, powder goes everywhere. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like that. But it is so finely milled, and it just kind of gives this warm glow. It's a little orange and a little brown. So it really has this kind of nice golden look to the skin. And I just love the finish to it. That's what I really love, is because it looks almost undetectable on the skin because the powder is so finely milled, which you can tell because you put the brush in and powder goes everywhere. And this one is the Glow and Contour Bronzing Palette in Moonrise. So this is how the packaging looks to start. And it says Loon and Aster. And then it's kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury Glow, Film Star Bronze and Glow, whatever. And I really do enjoy that one from Charlotte Tilbury. The bronzer's a little bit, in the Charlotte Tilbury one's a little bit too dark for me sometimes, and I have to be really light-handed with it. The shimmer in there is definitely a bold shimmer, I'm sure most of you guys know, and it can be sometimes chunky. I do really enjoy it, but it can be chunky on me. This was really, really creamy, so it's not as chunky. I actually prefer, the bronzer is nice, but I love the highlighter. The highlighter is what I've been using the most of. It gives a very strong highlight to the skin. And I actually like it even for a day. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, it's like too difficult to see. I swatched it on my blog. Let me see if I can get the bronzer. Yeah, you can see the bronzer a little bit. But like I said, I put it on my blog so you can see it a little bit better. It's hard to always show on camera because my hand's all moving around. But the highlight, though, it's not very chunky, and it almost, when you touch it, it feels like a cream. And you can see that one right there, my middle finger right there. It just has a really gorgeous glow. It is pretty bold. Like, I have to really be light-handed with it, using it during the day, but I've been loving it, like up on my cheekbone here. It just really has this kind of, because it's very golden, it has this like nice warm, and like I said, it doesn't get chunky or, too glittery or anything like that. It just looks like a sheen on the skin, and though it's powder. So really been enjoying those two products, and those are the two products that stood out the most to me from the Loon and Aster line. And another product that I've been trying, it's from Blue Mercury as well and loved, is the M61 Vitablast C Scrub and Mask. So it is a scrub and a mask. It has little tiny scrubbies in it, but the scrubbies are I can be really particular about scrubbies. Sometimes they can irritate my skin, though I don't have sensitive skin, but sometimes I'm just not a fan of certain scrubs. But the scrubs are it is so gentle and minimal that you can barely feel it. And there is sea buckthorn in here, papaya, vitamin C and E. So it is so nourishing and hydrating to the skin, in addition to being exfoliating. So what I do is I put it on the face. I leave it on, it says for a minute, I leave it on for 2 to 3 minutes because I really want like the sea buckthorn to really penetrate the skin and really help to nourish and hydrate the skin. And then I just take like a warm washcloth and just kind of massage it off. So that's where you're getting the scrubbies begin to work, and that's where you're getting some of the exfoliation. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful kind of mask scrub exfoliating treatment. I definitely think that it says it's for all skin types. I'd be really curious to see. I have a feeling that it would be quite nice for sensitive skin types, but I always kind of hesitate because you may need to like patch test it. But I felt like the scrubbies in here were so gentle, and I love, like I said, the mixture of like a richer ingredients to help balance it out. So I think it would actually be a nice exfoliating treatment for those with sensitive skin. This next one, however, I really feel would be a great exfoliating treatment for sensitive skin because it was so gentle. It is the Blue Diamond Resurfacing Peel by Omarovixa. And when I first put it on, I don't know what I was expecting. I didn't know if I expected it to have scrubbies in it or to be really like tingling, burning. So it has barely any scrubbies. There's some texture to it you can see, but it's not like a scrubby texture. And I put it on, I left it on for about 10 to 15 minutes. And because like I said, my skin's not very sensitive. And there was very minimal tingling, which I thought was nice. So this is I felt it was a very medium peel. And I think it's great for if someone can't do something really hardcore, but wants something still to be pretty effective. So I left it on for about 10 plus minutes, and then I used a warm cloth to kind of, actually I used my fingers first, and I kind of massaged it in for about a minute or two with like wet fingers so that I could really kind of work it into the skin at the end of 10 minutes, and then I removed it with a cloth. So I think with the combination of kind of leaving it on and then massaging it in with my fingers and then removing it with the washcloth kind of all worked really nicely together, and my skin was left so smooth, soft. I definitely noticed some difference in my T-zone area. The pores definitely appeared smaller. Pores aren't doors. They don't open and close and that sort of thing, and they don't all of a sudden magically wake up one day and they're smaller. They just appear smaller, especially if they're, cleaned, or if you do some exfoliating treatments, they can appear smaller. So that's where I first noticed it. And then, like I said, the rest of my skin was very kind of soft, smooth, textureless. But I liked it because there wasn't that irritation or that like intense tingling that comes with some peels. Though I do love a good tingle on my face from a peel. It was definitely nice to have one on days that maybe my skin can't handle for whatever reason. Maybe it's that time of the month that my skin's acting a little more sensitive and I need something still to do an exfoliating treatment, but not something like super harsh. I think that's a really great one. Okay, then the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. I have tried this before. I thought I didn't, and then I was like thinking about it, and I used it. I went through my blog, and I was like, have I? And I believe, and then I was like, I have used this before, but it's been so long that I forgot how I liked it or what I thought about it. Anyway, I've been using it kind of pretty much every day on my makeup to set it, and you're supposed to put it like 12 to, 8 to 10 inches away from the skin. I don't know how far that is. Is that this far? I've been doing it like kind of like a slight bent arm, and it's supposed to be like in an X, or they say kind of a T or an X. I've been doing the X format, and all over the skin once it's completely done with makeup, like I have now. I enjoy it because it does help my makeup to last pretty much all day long. I mean, when I use this, I tend to get a lot less oily, and my makeup tends to not break up in my T-zone as much as it normally does. And also, I tend to, I use a lot of powder products on my skin. I use a cream or liquid foundation, but a lot of powder products, powder blush, powder highlighter, maybe a setting powder. And I like this because it takes down some of that powdered look right at the end. And so I know this is like a cult classic for many people. And like I said, I obviously had used it a long time ago and didn't leave enough of an impression on me to remember if I'd used it before. So I was happy to kind of give it a go again. And like I said, I've been using it for a few weeks now, almost every single day. So it definitely is, I definitely have seen a huge difference, using that and really enjoy for days that I know I'm going to be out for a long period of time and need my makeup to last as long as possible. All right, the final product is a favorite that I put back into my routine. I've gone back and forth. I've had it in my routine, and then I'll test other products, and I always just go back to it. And this is the SK-II Facial Treatment Essence. This is the holiday limited edition bottle, which is like so beautiful. But I've gone back to it in my routine, so I use it after I cleanse and tone. So sometimes I'll do an acid tone or just a basic toner, and then I'll use this, pour it into my hands, and pat it onto the skin. The biggest difference I see with the SK-II Facial Treatment Essence is my hydration levels in my skin. Like, I suffer a lot from dehydration, and I drink a ton of water. And I have oily skin, so it's really hard to figure out like why exactly where the dehydration levels are coming from, why I have dehydration issues. But I do. My skin often gets very dehydrated. I can feel it throughout the day, sometimes getting really tight. And I find that when I'm using the SK-II Facial Treatment Essence, my skin doesn't get as tight and uncomfortable throughout the day, which I know obviously it's staying hydrated. It's not as oily. It's definitely brighter, and it just has an overall kind of more even tone look to it. And I've gone back and forth with using this like 3 or 4 times. So I've been able to take it out of my routine and put it back. And I didn't think I would see that much of a difference, but I really did. Like I said, it's really been hard for me to find a product that hydrates as well as this does for my skin and help to keep it quite balanced. So like I said, I'm not as oily, and then obviously my skin is not as dehydrated and dry in other areas, so it all around just helps to balance it out. And those are all my November favorites. So I will link everything that I talked about below, and swatches I'll have on the blog. And if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them below, and stay tuned for the Best of Beauty 2015, which will be a really exciting video, and I will film that at the end of this month. And that will be number one question I always get asked, like, what are your top favorite, what would you use over anything else? And that will be basically the video. It'll be fragrance, hair, skincare, makeup, body, the whole 9 yards. So hope you enjoyed this favorites video, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.